understand that, but we already said, E, reconvene to open session. It's currently 6:02 p.m. F, announcement of actions taken in closed session. There was none. G, presentation, return to work program.
Yes, thank you so much, President Alvarado. At this time, I'd like to ask our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Mr. Romel Guerrero, to present to us a PowerPoint presentation on our Return to Work program for Calexico Unified School District. This is to facilitate our process with any type of work accommodations, workers' compensation cases, and work restrictions. Mr. Guerrero.
Right, thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Jimenez, Board President Alvarado, Board Trustees, and members of the audience. My name is Romel Guerrero. I'm your Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources and Risk Management. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Return to Work program that we have implemented, that we plan to implement in Calexico Unified, and that we've already been piloting. Next slide, please. Really, the purpose of the program is to, most importantly, is to support our employees, and that's the whole idea behind it. Is we want to make sure that we're supporting our employees. When one of our employees is injured, we want to make sure we're doing everything possible, not only to ensure that they return, that they get their health back, but they also have an opportunity to return to work and feel part of the workforce. We want to empower our employees. We want to show them that we value them, that we respect them, that we appreciate their work and their efforts. And also we want to reduce lost time. We want to reduce the costly claims that come with it. And we want to reduce our workers' comp costs, because it does, it does affect our budgets. In addition to that, the purpose of the program is to provide temporary work assignments, whether it's a customary assignment where the employee returns back to their team, back to their office, back to their unit, or something alternative, something that might be more adequate based on their accommodations. Next one, please. Really, the bulk of the program comes down to the transitional work, and it's based on the nature of the employees' accommodations. We want to make sure that whatever we have to offer for them is at their level that they can perform physically. In addition to that, an employee may participate in several transitional programs, transitional work assignments while recovering. So we want to be flexible with our employees. We want to make sure that we're open to their needs and to meet those needs. The intention is to utilize our employees meaningfully. Right, so to bring them back and have them feel that they're contributing to the work. The idea is to help control the cost. Right, the district incurs when we have worker compensation, and the different costs that go along with that. And we want to reduce the disruption of work and service provided to our students. Next, please. There are benefits to the district and benefits to the employee. Definitely, we want to make sure that we're respecting and valuing our employees. The employee, when employees participate in the Return to Work program, the recovery is faster, because they're no longer just at home and not feeling like they're part of the process to service our students. But it's also providing the employees an opportunity to participate, to engage with the peers, to engage with our schools, with our district, with our students, and it really allows, based on the data that we have received, it helps our employees get better faster. So the district's benefit overall, it's reducing the costs, right? The claim costs. When we reduce the lost time, we reduce fees and costs that go along with it. In addition to that, it is in the district's benefit to accommodate employees who are injured based on ADA laws, based on the accommodation laws of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Next, please. The next slide is I don't know if you guys can see it pretty well, but I'm gonna walk you guys through the procedure so that you understand how the Return to Work program functions. When a work injury occurs, we direct the employee to report the injury to the supervisor and contact the district nurse. At that point, medical treatment is provided, and the employee has, at that point, we reach a fork in the road. If the employee receives accommodations, we go in one direction, we go under the yes direction. If there's no accommodations required, the employee returns back to their customary job duties, right? If there are accommodations, there are a couple of items that we have to review, that we have to check, right? The employee obtains treatment and work status slip to give to the district. Based on that slip, on that doctor's note, right? The physician's either gonna remove the employee from the work completely with follow-up meetings and appointments, or the physician is going to release the employee without restrictions, or the physician is going to release the employee with temporary restrictions and follow-up medical appointments. So the example that I'm gonna review first is gonna be physician removes employee from work completely with follow-up medical appointments. And that's going to your left, to my left, your right. So when that happens, the follow-up appointments obviously are included and they have to be attended. Our Keenan representatives contact the treating physicians to assist in determining if work restrictions are appropriate and whether those efforts are successful. When our Keenan associates contacts the physician, if the physician responds back and says, yes, we can accommodate, we can provide, there's limitations to the employee's ability to work, and they provide those accommodations, then we go back to being able to accommodate the employee in one of our, in either a temporary program or an accommodated program. If it's a no, the employee continues treatment until release with or without restrictions and provides work status slip to the district after each appointment. If the employee continues with restrictions where he or she may not be able, they may not be able to return to work, they will continue attending those medical appointments. In the event that the employee receives a doctor's note with accommodations, with restrictions, then we have to review those restrictions to determine how the employee, what tasks, what jobs the employee can perform at that point. And really, the role of that is to see if we can accommodate the employee in their current, with their current team, with their current office, or if we need to do a separate accommodation in a different office, in a different program. We do always meet with the employee. We want to make sure we bring in Keenan and in determining how we can support the employee. If we're not able to accommodate the employee, then the employee continues outside of work, right? They continue outside of work attending their medical appointments. If we're able to accommodate the employee comes back. And that's really the goal of the Return to Work program, is to bring that employee back in a meaningful way, supporting either the unit that they were working with or a different unit in our district, until the employee is able to receive a clear medical note with no restrictions. Before I move on, any questions about the procedures? Okay. Next slide, please. At this point, I'm open for questions.
Mr. Guerrero.
Yes, sir.
My question is, this program already exists
Yes.
for the most part. So what is the difference in this, what you're presenting today, to outside of workman's comp cases?
That's an excellent question. The difference is the way that we are going to provide accommodations for our employees. So in the past, employees bring their their restrictions to us, we review them, and we ask their supervisors, can you accommodate? Yes, no. For the most part, the supervisors say no because they can't perform their job. The employee is not accommodated. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna look at the restrictions that they have. We're actually looking at the restrictions that they have. We're looking at the job description, and then we look at and see what areas of that unit, let's say it is nutrition services, right? This person is a server, right? He or she or they are serving food, but they're not able to lift the trays. What else can we do to accommodate them? How else can they support that unit at that school when they're serving the students the food? Is this person able to collect money for meals that are being sold? Is this person able to distribute maybe the utensils? So in the past, it was a yes or a no. Most of the time it was a no. Now it's always a yes, because we go back and we see, okay, what can they do? And it's no longer they can't be accommodated. It's what can they do to support their unit, their team?
Primarily their team, then moving into a secondary.
Yeah. Yeah, if for some reason the employee is not able to perform any of the duties, then we look at other parts of the department to see how they can support. So we may have an employee who is a server, who's a nutrition service. You know, they hand out the food, but they are not able to do that. Now they're working in the office, helping with filing, helping with answering the phones, helping the clerical aspect of the office. And the goal is that if we are not able to accommodate them within their department, then we're going to look at different departments to see where else can the employee support the district and the work that needs to be done.
And if I could just add a little bit to that, Mr. Calderon, yes, excellent response, Mr. Guerrero. I think the intentionality, we're talking with our leadership team, with our, cabinet, and we're talking about being a lot more intentional about what we do. So, yes, while the process loosely has existed, the ADA process, because we're required to by not only state but also federal law under the FEAA, Fair Employment and Housing Authority, and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission at the federal level under the Americans with Disabilities Act. But we never had, for example, a codified, documented return to work program. The other part to this, too, is revising and updating our board policies and administrative regulations on workman's comp and return to work and accommodations, to bring them up to date, but again, being more intentional about it. People not being able to work because we're not able to accommodate them. It also has some cons for the employee. Some employees start feeling depression. Some employees start feeling, additional pain, other issues that's going on with their health. And so there's a lot of benefits, as Mr. Guerrero said, not only for the district, but also to the employee, and finding a way while they're dealing with the temporary. If we're looking at a permanent work restriction, it's a similar process, but with a different type of a discussion, because we're looking at something that's permanent. But if we're looking at a temporary work restriction, how can we be a lot more intentional about finding an accommodation so we could bring that employee to a meaningful, useful purpose at work, continuing to support the district, but being at work rather than staying at home.
Of course.
Well, what I meant, I think it was accountability and follow-up. If we don't have anyone following up on these cases, they go and we never know where they're at as far as doctor's appointments and so forth. And I don't think Keenan has the best, what's the word, I want to be politically correct, interest of this district. I mean, our workman's comp is 8.6. The closest one in the valley is 3.5, which is El Centro. So that 8.6 equals to $6 million a year. So what I'm getting at is that maybe we need more resources to follow up and to be able to stay on top of these cases and make sure that they don't fall through the cracks. And I think I've been asking for this in 2014 because I'm passionate about this. I mean, I understand people get hurt,
Yes.
and also people get well. And I think taking the step of bringing them in, if they can you know, how Mr. Guerrero said, if they're gonna pass silverware or whatever, it's important that we put them to work. But again, the follow-up is very important.
Mr. Guerrero,
Yes.
every time the individual goes for a checkup or to the medical, they
Medical
come back with
appointments.
a note.
Yeah,
And they come back with a note, and then you decide whether or not, well, cannot lift 20 pounds. Well, you can't do that. I'm gonna, so there is like a follow-up because we associate with the letter and what they can and can't do. So then it's kind of, it limits the employee, but then it gives us an opportunity to say, well, yeah, you can go shuffle some papers over here at the M&O. Or you can come over here and join us at Deanza and you can do the lunch count or something. But every time they go to the medical doctors, they come back with a note and it's delivered to HR. So there is accountability. I mean, the employee does come back to us with their notes.
Yeah, and if I could just also, and I'm glad, Mr. Calderon, I'm glad you brought the data up because the state average for workers' comp within an organization is about a 3%. As you mentioned, we're at an 8-point-something percent, 8.1, 8.2%. So we're more than double the state average, more than double all the other school districts in the valley. Most school districts in the valley, I know you have that one at 3-point-something percent, but some of them are like 2.8, 2.5%. When we're looking at that $6 million price tag, and then we're talking about things like maybe salaries, or we're talking about, you know, medical benefits, we're talking about, you know, if we could redirect, you know, those $6 million for other priorities and for other expenses and away, you know, other than workers' comp, and cutting it down to 3% or less, it could make a very positive impact on our general fund. So this is trying to get us there, trying to be more intentional about it, more accountable about it, and having actually have a documented process in place that we're going to refer to and practice.
What I'm trying to get to is here, I'm used to a spreadsheet. And at any time, I could know who is on workman's comp, how many times they've gone to the doctor, when are they going to be released, and so forth. And I don't know if you have it, but I think it would be a good idea to track them, because that way the follow-up is important. I mean, you look at that document, and it's a live document where you see what status they're on, and so forth.
Right.
And which is good. I'm glad you're bringing it up, because, I mean, that, like Mr. Jimenez said, that's money we can spend somewhere else.
absolutely.
And with that said, sorry to interrupt you there, but with that said, I think moving forward, we could go ahead and start seeing something, you know, at least some type of update during our closed session as far as where we're at, where we're heading towards as far as that goes. If we need to come back, revisit it, and with recommendation of hiring somebody just solely to be looking at that position, I think that's what Mr. Calderon was talking about. That was something that was mentioned prior years. That's something that we could also take a look at, but that's just moving forward. This is in place. We're talking about it. We're discussing it right now. This is moving forward now. So I think there's a lot of good direction, you know, where we're going at right now. And it's one of those that I think we should get updated with that information during our closed sessions. Like these are the amount of people, not names and stuff like that, but this is how many people we have, you know, out on workers' comp. This is how much we're paying, you know, a month type of thing. That way we know. And that way we could see where we're moving. It's going up or it's, you know, going down. That way we get a better picture of everything as far as that goes.
We can definitely do that.
We could definitely do that. We do track it, and we could tell exactly how long, who, you know, for how many months or longer, you know, some of these cases have been going on for. Could definitely do that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for the presentation.
H, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to an item on the agenda or any other item on district business that is not on the agenda. Janet, do we have
No
any?
comments.
I, consent agenda. All items appearing will be acted upon by one motion without discussion. I make a motion to approve.
I second.
We have a motion by myself, seconded by Ms. Marianes. All in favor, please state aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. J, information items. Number one, superintendent report.
Thank you so much, President Alvarado. So first and foremost, as our first board meeting back from the winter break, I would like to wish all of us here in the room and our entire Calexico Unified School District community a Happy New Year. Hope that everyone had some little bit of time off and some joyful time with friends and family over the winter break. So we hope that the 2023 year brings a lot of blessings to Calexico and our schools and students and staff and families. So best to everyone. Secondly, I would like to, my great privilege and honor to formally introduce tonight our brand new student trustee on the Board of Trustees, Ms. Sierra Aguinaga. So I know that this was a board request going back a while, and so finally I'm really happy that we were able to make this happen. Ms. Aguinaga is a junior at Calexico High School. She's got a solid 3.8 GPA, and she tells me that she's working on a 4.0, is hoping to apply to UCLA or New York University. And she would like to get into the medical field. So we know that Sierra's going to make us proud. And wherever she goes in life and whatever she does, we know that she's going to be successful and she's going to be a proud Calexican. And I know she'll come back to her community and also give back to the community that I'm sure she loves so much. So Sierra, congratulations. We wish you the best, and we're happy that you're here with us. So tomorrow, the Family Resource Center is organizing a community resource fair to connect our district families with local organizations, networks of care, and programs. The event is scheduled for tomorrow from 9 to 12 at the FRC. Organizations participating include El Centro Regional Medical Center, Imperial County Behavioral Health, Imperial Valley College, and IVROP. So I would like to thank Ms. Hortensia, our coordinator over at the Family Resource Center, Armendariz, for all her hard work and putting this together. It's not easy to bring a lot of organizations on the same day, but it's definitely something that benefits our families and our community with much needed resources and information for them. Also, Jefferson Elementary School held a parent community resource fair today. This fair provided parents and families with helpful community resources they need. I want to personally thank Ms. Buenrostro, our principal, and also our school counselor, Ms. Segura, who really led the fair. She's very passionate about our families and students and community. Our community partner was Ventanilla de Salud. And she was able to get also a lot of community organizations to come and participate and provide resources, information to our parents at Jefferson Elementary School. So thank you for the great work that's taking place there at Jefferson. I'm also excited to report that we have been awarded a $50,000 community health grant. Our goal is to provide the most needed resources to all students by providing access to medical care to address the specific needs of our students and support our families at all of our school sites who are in need of medical attention by offering on-demand virtual care, including over-the-counter or prescription medication, care coordination with the students' families' doctors, and communication with the student's school. One of the things that we find in Calexico is oftentimes our students either have to miss school to go see the doctor, or sometimes they can't go see the doctor because maybe they may lack the transportation or the resources to be able to do that. But we do see that contributes to our absenteeism because students have to either leave school early or not go to school at all to take care of medical needs. And this will provide the opportunity for those families who need it to be able to see a doctor through like a teledoctor or telemedical type of a situation, be diagnosed or be referred to the doctor or be given their medical prescription and say, oh, this is an over-the-counter medication or a prescription medication. So we're very excited to have received this grant for $50,000 and put it to really good use. We would like to thank the Office of Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia for his generous donation to our right-hand right-hand club at Calexico High School. Representatives from Mr. Garcia's office, Guillermo Hernandez and Rene Felix, presented a check for $1,000 in support of the wonderful work of the Right Hand Club. I would like to thank our Calexico High School parent, Lorena Minor, for writing to the Assembly Member Garcia and securing the donation. So thank you for that teamwork and that partnership with our parent and school. The annual Navy Cadet Program inspection took place today at Calexico High School on Ward Field. Approximately 150 students participated in this event. I would like to express my great appreciation to CHS Principal Mrs. Williams and our Navy Chief Johnson for the incredible work they do in this program. I would also like to thank the Navy and Marine staff who came out to the Valley and came out to Calexico to personally assist in the program inspection. This is Lead Commander Garcia, Chief Warrant Officer Ron Flaherty, First Sergeant Jermaine Wilkerson, Petty Officer Bryce Albert, Petty Officer Toppin, and Chief Lizarraga. I and Mr. Guerrero had the great opportunity of being there, seeing our students' information, really making us proud, knowing their facts, knowing their information as they were being drilled and inspected and questioned. They look sharp, and they're doing such a great job that 6 of our students made it to nationals. This is something they have to earn. It's not given. It's not an assurance. They made it to nationals, and we'll be presenting and really putting Calexico on the map in Daytona, Florida, for a competition, a national competition for the flag team and rifles. So congratulations to our students and cadets from CHS and all of Calexico, and we're really looking forward to their continued success. But they look sharp. We'll have pictures, and they look really good. Tomorrow, there's a tour by the Imperial Valley agencies engaging in the electric lithium projects and activities. Several outside agencies will be visiting our Calexico High School CTE auto shop, specifically to look at our electric cars that our student with our teacher is working on. Our focus will be to provide the California Energy Commission with a means of witnessing firsthand our students experiencing real-world EVE applications as electrification becomes a vital movement for California. Calexico High School CTE program is currently the only school in the Imperial Valley where students are participating in a project constructing an EV car. Our students and staff will have the opportunity to display their work to State Senator Steve Padilla, Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia, Secretary of California Environmental Protection Agency Yana Garcia, the California Energy Commission Chair and members, the Comité Cívico del Valle members, City of Calexico staff, council members, and Calexico Unified School District board members and administrators. So we're very, very excited to also put Calexico on the map as the only program in the Valley with that. Today I had the great opportunity of meeting with Dr. Guillermina Nunez, our new dean for the San Diego State University Imperial Valley campus. We had a great meeting. I'm super excited. I felt inspired and motivated walking out of that meeting with her. She's a dynamic and intelligent and person. I'm glad to have that partnership. Together we are discussing possibilities on how our 2 institutions of education can partner to support and benefit Calexico students and families. I finally want to congratulate to the boys and girls wrestling teams Marlon Alexander Sanchez won his weight class at the El Cajon Invitation, and Isis Dominguez placed first in the Queen of the Lake tournament. So congratulations to our wrestling Olympic wrestlers there, as they are also representing and making us proud. And that concludes, President Alvarado, my comments. Our next board meeting will be held Thursday, February 9th. May you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that report, Mr. Jimenez. ROP Committee.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. We met this morning at 6:30. Just to inform you that February will be CTE month, so IVROP will be having a lot of activities during the course of the month. Also, IVC Dean of Students, Alexa Villa, met with our students at Aurora to discuss IVC curriculum. And just a note, Ms. Alexa Villa is an Aurora graduate, so that's good to see that someone from IVC is looking out for our kids and trying to motivate them to continue their studies. Also, the mobile lab worked with Sparks during our vacation, and they had the mobile lab that was going throughout our district and meeting with our kids. I think they worked with about approximately 60 students throughout the district. And some of the topics were work readiness and social and emotional skills. Also, the career specialists continue to serve our students. They're going out to the middle schools and getting these kids ready for jobs. Another thing that Mr. Roman was here the last meeting, I gave him a paper to apply, an application. Actually, he applied for it, and the IVROP Committee Foundation just awarded him $500 for the FFA group at CHS. And the last thing is IVROP is planning a culinary competition for the month of April, and hopefully our kids can come up and represent Calexico with our nice culinary kitchen that we have. So, all right, that's all I have for IVROP. Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Mr. Calderon. Now we're going to move on to number 3, board reports. We're going to start with our student rep, Sierra Anguinaga.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. I would like to start off to say that I have heard from multiple students being content with the much-needed renovations that are going in Calexico High School. I would also like to say good luck to all of our sports games that are coming up this week and the following. A good luck to all the winter sports and how they have a great season. I would also like to suggest opening up the swimming pool for the swim team, so that way we can be more prepared for when the meets start and we can have be more successful in winning. The following events, that is a winter homecoming, is a great idea for everyone who couldn't make it to the first homecoming, and now they have another opportunity. And I would also like to congratulate all the students who I think today received an email for the academic rewards. And thank you, everyone, and have a nice evening.
Thank you for that report, Sierra. Mr. Calderon.
Yeah, thank you again, and thank you for joining us. Just congratulations to our cadets that represented us today, and also the athletes for going out there and representing Calexico. And thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Pimentel, for your generous donation. I know there's other donors on the agenda, but thank you. I'm sure that those funds will be put to use. Thank you. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Mr. Calderon.
Oh, one more thing. And thanks to the staff for coordinating and organizing these events. I know it takes a lot of organization, and I'm sure that whoever visited today went back home and are talking about Calexico. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Contreras.
Yeah, I just want to welcome you, Ms. Sierra, for joining us and being part of this group. We're looking forward to working with you and taking a look at some of the items that the students have in their plate. And again, I want to thank the people that did the donations for the schools, and thank you, Mr. Pimentel. Teachers that are here today and the counselors, all right, for keeping us abreast of the things that are coming up or the things that are certain concerns of yours. that we said we would be bringing up to the board and working on those items. I know that during the week we've been working on several things, and we're looking forward to have some type of a resolution for some items in there. And then thank you guys.
Thank you for that, Mr. Contreras. Mr. Pacheco?
I really feel sorry for not acknowledging all the community that voted for me. And I want to thank ACT and CSEA for sponsoring me and saying, yes, we've got your back, or we'll vote for you. And it was my fault that I didn't acknowledge those two unions. And of course, my family, my wife, Annalisa, my daughter, Roxana, Marcos, and Luis. Without them going through this silliness of going through campaigns, they've gone through quite a bit of them. But I'm sorry for not acknowledging both unions and the community for voting for me. And thank you. We're here to work. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Pacheco. Ms. Magallanes?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm excited about the momentum we have going on. I had several calls from parents saying that the winter and the Thanksgiving and winter program for Sparks was very, very good. So thank you. I also had calls from parents saying that they're very happy with the second chance breakfast that they started this week in Cesar Chavez, which I think it's awesome. And on a final note, I would like to welcome you again, Mrs. Aguiniga? Okay, our student board member trustee. I'm really very, very excited for you. And you're going to be getting a lot of experience here. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you for that, Ms. Magallanes. Just the same sentiments. Sierra Aguiniga, it's exciting to be working with you, to listen to. That's the reason why all of us are here, is for you guys, for the students, to make sure that we're listening to what it is that you guys have, how we can improve our district, and not only, for the students, but also for our staff. But it's mainly for you guys. It's for our future. With that said, I want to thank, Mr. Pimentel. I know we've already said it a couple times. Baja Sun Growers, Landmark Consultants, for their donations to our district. And I also want to thank our staff. I mean, I know I come up here each and every month when we come up, we thank you guys, but we do mean it. You guys are integral to what we're doing and where we're moving forward. It's taking steps, but we are going to get there. It's improving each and every year. I see it. I've seen it from when I started back in, 6 years ago, to where we're at now. There's a huge improvement, and I've seen it. And I also want to thank our superintendent for everything that he's doing also as well. And with that said, I also want to see if we could go ahead and get some type of reports in, as far as our A through G programs, where we're at the high school, as a district, because I know, with that said, we have to inform our community where we're at as a district. We have to ensure that our students are meeting the state requirements. I think the last time I checked, as far as that goes, our state, where we're ranked as a state, I just don't want to say it, because I think we're pretty low, correct, as a district. With that said, I would like to just see that moving forward. If we could go ahead and get something going on, if we could get whatever it is that the counselors need, because you know what, we need to ensure that we make our students productive citizens of our society. That's what we're here for. And with that said, thank you all for being here. We're going to continue with this meeting. Okay, discussion, possible action, school resource officer agreement. By Mr. Calderon, but you have some information also as well, Mr. Jimenez, correct?
Yes, I do, President Alvarado. So, it's an informational item for tonight. I do want to share with the board that we have, as far as the district is concerned, finalized the MOU on Tuesday. Myself and Ms. Limon met with our Chief of Police, Serrano, and went over the MOU and explained the different components of the MOU and what were the reasons behind any questions that he might have had. There were some valid points that the chief brought up that we were able to look at. But we're very, very excited about this opportunity. The chief is very excited about it. Right now, the MOU is being reviewed by the city and their council. And we are optimistic, and we're hoping that by the next board meeting or two, but hopefully by the next board meeting, we'll be able to bring the MOU to the board for final approval. And this would be for a school resource officer who would be based and stationed at CHS High School, but can be used to attend to any type of need or emergencies at any one of our district schools or buildings. So we're very excited about this. I'll keep the board updated on how that's coming along. But of course, we vetted it through our legal counsel, and the city needs to have the same opportunity to do that as well. But I'm very excited with this partnership with the city, and hopefully be able to make this happen and bring this valuable resource to Calexico Unified.
Well, that's good news, Mr. Jimenez. I look forward for him to start. I mean, have they said what a date or anything like?
Well, we haven't established a date yet, as to not get ahead of the board and not get ahead of the
Yeah,
the
I
city.
understand that, but
Yeah.
this year, are we talking about this
We
year?
we are very definitely. We actually did talk about a tentative timeline. We said, like, okay, suppose hypothetically that it's been approved both by the board and the city, and we're ready to go. About what are we looking at? And at that point, we could be looking at anywhere from 30 to 60 days, depending on the hiring process, the interview process, the selection process, and then doing the transition of that person into this assignment. So we're very excited about it. This is not. We're not looking at an SRO as so much as on the criminal aspect of law enforcement and policing, but as on the safety aspect of law enforcement and policing. Safety and security is what we're looking at. We're looking at. We're not looking for the SRO to be looked at as a punitive person on campus, but to be looked at as a resource for our students and staff to support school and student safety and security from both internal and external threats. So it's a little bit of a different view. But we're very excited to be able to be bringing this to our schools.
Thank you very much. I don't know if anyone else has questions. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that update, Mr. Jimenez. Number 2, accelerator reader.
Well, I put it on. I mean, I put it on, and the reason I put it on is when I first started as a board member, we had this program, and we shied away from it. With this COVID problem and everything, I think our scores have reduced. And I think because some of our kids are not engaged in the reading process, and we all know we have teachers here that when a kid doesn't learn to read, normally he withdraws or he becomes a problem within the school setting and so forth. And obviously we have been seeing a lot of disciplinary problems within our schools. And I think the reason I put it on here is that maybe we should go back to it. When we first started, at least when I started, the community embraced it, and they even supported me with rewarding these students at the end of the year. And I believe that we should at least try it, or at least discuss it, and maybe discuss it with the stakeholders, make a committee with the teachers or somebody from each school, and make sure that if it's the right thing or the right direction. Mr. Alvarado mentioned about the dashboard. I mean, it's obvious that we need help. So let's meet and let's see what we come up with.
And I'm in agreement with you on that, Mr. Calderon. Just looking at the data, we need to look at the data, how it was before with the accelerator and how we are currently with this program. We said that they told us that they were going to go ahead and give us updates as far as where we're at, and I don't think I've seen any data within the last, I want to say, couple years. So that would be something that I want to look forward and see what it is that, did we improve? I don't think we improved, but, where we're at compared to how we were, compare apples to apples. So I want to go ahead and see that, take a look at that and bring it back, because I do recall when we had accelerator, you had, the buy-in from all the board members. I remember every board member would, make some type of donation for that for the end of the year for the bikes, as far as that goes. And that was something that the students look forward to also as well. And it's just a reward. It's just to reward them. It's just to reward them at the end of the year for all the hard work that they're doing. And I would really like to, take a look into that also as well.
And I think this is just in part of, because I see some of the teachers that are looking kind of like, we have the accelerated readers, right? But I think it's more of bringing it back into us for recognition of the students and making sure that there's more rewards and more things that the kids would have their hands on, so that, we have more representation, I guess, from the board. 'Cause
I'd like to say that the reason why I think we need it more, because of COVID, the kids are stuck on the computer, and a book is kinesthetic, they can touch it, they can feel it, they can smell it. Our libraries are full with books, but our kids only get to go to the library one time.
Can you just step up? That way everybody, you're in the community, that way we could. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Sandra Teran, and I work at Cesar Chavez School, and I've been working in this district for 36 years. I'm very proud. I started with AR here, and the kids like AR because it's not so much, well, they like the competition and knowing that after they take a test, they're gonna get some type of reward. And I think it also helped parents to see their kids excel in reading, and also when they take the book, it was more, parents got to work with their kids. And on the computer, even though the book is there, it's not the same. It's not the same. We do have a program called MyOn. Yeah, the book is there. It's online. But sometimes the kids just listen. And then we have other programs that are free called Epic. But you just listen. Here at AR, you take the test, and you're looking forward for something. A lot of our books get taken out of the library. There's a reason why to go to the Calexico library to get 10 or 15 more books. You're going to lend them to the kids for a long time. It's a really good thing. I mean, we're paying a lot of money for the other programs. I mean, you're right. We need a committee to decide. I mean, there's pros and cons, but I see it was more beneficial for the students. They need to go back to our libraries. They need to know, there used to be encyclopedias, and things that kids don't understand. There used to be card catalogs, and they don't know that. So, yeah, and yeah, and parents need to know there's a Kiki Camarena library where they can really check out books, and the people want to work with the kids there. But when AR was taken away, it took a lot from the kids. The kids really did want to read. They just sat around and they read to each other, or they read with their parents, or they read to their friends. How many points you have? Yes, we had the ones that, didn't do it the right way. There's always someone like that. But I think our kids need that again. We need to bring back what works. That works. I mean, and they want to. They want to go to the library. Mr. I want to go back again. But, it's hard. It's hard if we're not having something to it. And it's a program that teachers do have to be accountable for, know their level of reading. Do they go up? Do they go down? How many books they read? But I think it should be one where we're just letting them read because you want to read for pleasure. I mean, how many times do you go, kids don't realize you can go to Barnes and Nobles and read books and they don't get mad at you if you touch them. So we want to bring back, I want to bring that back. I want to be able to say, you can go inside the library and look at all the books, and they let you too at Kiki Camarena. And I think that we need to bring back that spirit. I mean, thank you, Mr. Calderon, for saying that we need it back. Yes, the incentive was great. The bicycle was a good thing. And I think the kids would want it. I don't see it as a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I'm sorry I have to leave this year, but there's always I can always come back and read, to the kids. But I really think that it's a positive things for the kids. AR was good before. I think it's still going to be good again. I don't think it's a bad thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Ran.
So we'll definitely follow up with that, Mr. Calderon. We are in working with our Director of Educational Technology, Ms. Montaño. We are looking at all of the softwares that we use in Calexico. There is and this is not a Calexico thing. This is throughout the country in many, many school districts where we're like, software overload, right? Where kids are spending way too much time on screen time. They're not getting that personal interaction with human beings because they're spending, 50, 60, 70% of their day staring at a computer screen. And so one of the things that we're looking is what softwares do we have? What softwares are we using? Because we could pull reports from each software to look at what's called utilization. Are the softwares that we have, are we actually using them, or are we paying $50, $60, $70,000 and it's not being used a whole lot? And then also, what outcomes are we having from those softwares? Are we seeing, a difference being made in our student achievements? Sometimes more is not necessarily better, and quantity does not equate quality. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes we need to slow down in order to do better work, So sometimes we mistake having more and more and more things. And I tell staff is like, let's not be fooled by the shiny object, right? Let's not be fooled by, buying and buying and buying and buying. Because at the end of the day, it's in here, right? Give me a teacher who cares and wants to make a difference for his or her children. Man, those kids, sky's the limit, Give me the $1 million classroom. We could do a classroom makeover that's worth $1 million in there, but have an educator in there who doesn't care and doesn't want to make a difference. You could throw all that out the window. So that's my philosophy. That's how I feel. But we are doing those analysis. We are looking at all of our softwares, and absolutely, I have heard some positive feedback about our use of Accelerator Reader when we used to have it. So we'll definitely follow up with your request. Look at that. Do that analysis and see where we could go with that in the near future.
Well, thank you for that. Any other comments from the board? With none, let's move to Al. Action items, consideration and action approval of the following items. 1, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Harris Systems USA Incorporated mealtime point of sale to provide reporting tools for food service staff.
I move to approve.
Motion by Ms. Magallanes, and I'll second that. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion's approved, 5-0, with our student rep also voting yes, so 6-0. 2, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Dixon Smart Schoolhouse for consultation on general services.
So moved.
I'll second.
For
Motion by-
discussion?
So there's, okay, so there's a motion by Mr. Calderon, a second by myself, and it's open for discussion now. Go ahead, Mr. Pacheco.
No, how long is I know he's being paid hourly to do consulting, but how long have we narrowed down the hours he's going to be here?
Yes, no, great question, Mr. Pacheco. It's only on an as-needed basis, so it could be a few hours, so it could be more, just only as needed. We have used him over the years. He's not a new consultant for us in school facilities and construction. He is a very knowledgeable and person and very resourceful with a lot of experience in school construction in the state of California. But like I said, we're not paying for 20 hours or 60 hours or 100 hours. I think in the past couple of years, we've used them for a handful of hours. It depends on what we're doing, when we need to reach out to him. But when we do reach out to him and we do talk with him, we'd like to utilize his expertise and knowledge. This is like a renewal of a contract that we have had, but right now has expired and we'd like to renew it. So it's on an as-needed basis.
And he's hands-on. He comes to our district.
He'll come. He'll Zoom. He has been here present as we need him. If it's a simple phone call, over the phone, 10, 15-minute conversation, that's one thing. If it's a meeting, a committee, something where he would absolutely has come out to the district when needed.
I think I just would like to see a limitation on it, like the cost, not to, like if it exceeds over $10,000, should be brought back into the board for decision, because that consultation could get out of control pretty quick if so needed.
Well, with that said, with that comment, just I'll withdraw my second. and I'll go ahead,
With
is there
an
any
amendment?
second? Yeah, well, I want to see if, Mr. Calderon wants to make an amendment to his, motion.
So are we gonna limit?
I would
The
say,
hours?
I would say limit it.
and
Hourly
What's the
rate,
current hours right now?
Well, $135 an hour,
Hourly
that's where it's at.
yeah.
135 bucks an hour.
That's cheap. If you think about it.
No, correct, but
I
it's
just-
also good to see where we're at. Like, if we put increments, we could see, well, what did he do with those 10, I mean, what was it that, what services did he provide?
Yeah, it's not necessarily limiting it, but, you know, getting the updates up to a certain hours.
So I think what you're saying, Mr. Contreras, is saying like, you know, a total not to exceed, let's say, for example, $10,000. And if the district needs to go beyond $10,000, bring it back to the board?
Correct.
Okay, so I withdraw my motion, first motion, I motion to approve the contract with a $10,000 limit.
And I'll second that.
And then if you need more hours, then just let us know, all right?
All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 6-0. 3, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Handling Systems Incorporated, DBA Raymond West, for services to prolong the serviceability of pallet jacks and forklifts. Motion to approve.
Second,
Second by Mr. Pacheco. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. Number 4, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and VIX Mechanical Service Contractors to replace heating, ventilation, and air conditioning HVAC units at Calexico High School, 9th grade, William Moreno Junior High School, and Family Resource Center.
So move.
I'll make a second, but with
Discussion.
comment.
yeah.
My comment to that, and this is something that we've brought up before, is we have a contract with VIX. I would like an update to see where we're at currently with that contract, where we're at, because there was a limit that we had already put as far as that goes. And if we're going to go over that, then I think we should go back and revisit this and see, you know, what options we have as far as that goes, because we do have our HVAC, you know, people as far as that goes, and we need to make sure that, you know, we don't go over a certain threshold as far as that goes. And this is an ongoing issue with the HVAC units that we've had for years now. And it was just, you know, supposed to be temporarily, but we have to, you know, take a look at that as far as, you know, how that goes. And that's my comment.
I do have some information for you, for the board, Mr. Alvarado. So you're absolutely right. We do have a current contract with VIX that expires December 30th of 2023, so at the end of this school year. That contract, however, is for repairs. We, in these 3 specific new units, for De Anza, we have I said De Anza, right? At the CHS 9, the unit that's being replaced is from 2005. So it's been a good almost 15, maybe 18 years. The unit at the FRC Parent Conference Room is from 2012, so hitting about 10 years. The unit at William Moreno Room 30, it's not that old of a unit. It's about 8 years old, from 2015. But that unit from 2015, it's beyond repairable. It's because we looked into this, because I know that this has been something that the board has been, you know, interested in seeing and analyzing what it is that we're doing. And so we requested, you know, specifically, why can't we repair that unit? So for once, that unit has already been repaired several times, and it continues to break down. So there comes a point of no return, right? Like we're spending more money repairing it than if we were just get a new one. The ICM board, outdoor motor breaks, the condenser fan motor, there's a freon leak, there has a weak compression. So when requesting the information of like, okay, maybe I could understand the 2005 unit, maybe I could understand the 2012. You know, the 2015, that unit just didn't last us at the good 10 to 12 years that we hope the units out here in the valley last. So that's why for these 3 units, specifically only, this is what the board action item is for.
Just to let you know, and I learned this about a month ago or 2 probably, that Climate Tech, the ones that came in, actually have an inventory of all our air conditioners. So if someone can reach out and try to get that inventory, I would appreciate it. That way we can compare as to what we're doing now.
I spoke with the representative from Climate Tech this week, and we're scheduling a meeting for mid-February.
All right. Well, I'm saying because they have an inventory of all our units, the, how old they are and so forth, so it's good to compare.
Any other comments from the board? With that said, there was a motion by, who made the motion?
I made the motion.
Contreras, and I think I seconded with a comment. With that, all those in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion passes 6-0. Number 5, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Sign Factory to provide repairs to the marquee at Enrique Camarena Junior High School.
So moved.
I second.
Motion by Mr. Pacheco, seconded by Ms. Magallanes. All those in favor, please state aye.
I have a question
Oh.
before, what are we doing to it?
There's some of the neon lighting needs to be replaced. I know Danny probably, is there beyond that, Danny? Come up to the podium, Danny. Help out a friend here, you know.
think
I
we'll
have
to
one
sit
one
down
quick
right here
comment
just-
on that,
Yeah.
and I live right across in the second story, and so that light hits me all night long. So sometimes I just wish it wouldn't get replaced, right? Or
So
set
was
up timers for those things.
So
right?
was it you?
It's gonna be an LED light.
We need to put it on
That's
the
why it keeps
timer.
you up, 'cause it's not,
Good evening, board members. Daniel Campo, Executive Director of Facilities Planning and Maintenance Operations. What we're changing on it is the second, there's two boards, not the one that had the marquee that has the lights. It's the top one on top that says Kiki Camarena, the fluorescent lights burnt out, so it needs to be replaced.
I did not burn them out.
I do have one more
Yes.
question. How old is this marquee?
I will have to get back with you on that one. It's just the lights. I don't know exactly how old they are, but those are,
Any of the teachers know how old they are? Because you guys are from CESA. No?
No,
Have no
Kiki.
idea? No, okay.
I'll get back.
I'll get back. Yeah,
And this is at the marquee at Kiki Camarena.
Yes, Kiki
Yeah.
Camarena.
and, yeah,
gotta
yeah.
be more than
If you can get back to us. I'd
Yes,
appreciate it.
I will get you that information.
As a matter of fact, all of them that we have, how old, the dates of when we
Okay,
purchased
no
them.
problem.
Thank
All
you.
of them, no problem.
With that said, no more comments from the board? We have a motion. All those in favor, please state aye.
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 Motion passes 6-0. 6, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Derma's floor covering to repair carpet inside hallways at Blanche Charles Elementary School.
So moved.
Second, motion by Mr. Pacheco, seconded by myself. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. 7, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Unwind and Design Creative Studio to provide acrylic painting lessons for the after-school program at various school sites for the 22-23 school year.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Magallanes, seconded by Mr. Pacheco. All those in favor, please state aye. Aye. Motion passes 6-0. Number 8, quarter report on Williams uniform complaint, December 2022.
So move.
Second, motion by Ms. Magallanes, seconded by myself. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. 9, second reading of new board policy 3516.7, naloxone.
So move.
Second, motion by Ms. Magallanes, seconded by myself. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. 10, second reading of revised regulation 5141.21, administering medication and monitoring health conditions. So moved.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Contreras. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. Resolution regarding classified layoffs at the conclusion of the 22-23 school year.
So move.
And I'll say second. With that, all those in favor,
Comments?
is there comments?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Pacheco.
Mr. Jimenez, the budget that the governor gave and Prop 98 looks favorable for us. We're just being cautious, I guess, but I think there's money there for the schools. But most of these are classified positions that I was looking at, so.
Yeah, at this time, this is a resolution for classified positions, Mr. Pacheco. So these positions, so you're actually, you're right. The budget, as we stand here right now in January, we don't have an adopted budget. It's just a proposed budget. But the proposed budget is looking okay for this next school year, as we had anticipated, and we knew that. These positions, however, when we hired a couple years ago, they were hired with one-time monies that we no longer are having. So at the time that they were hired, the board and the district said, and the state, some of these ESSER 1, ESSER 2, ESSER 3 funds it said these are one-time monies to help with COVID-related support. So some of these, so all these positions are funded under those one-time monies. So, for example, for one of these classifications, the that funding expired at the end of last school year. So actually, right now, we're absorbing it out of our general fund. So it comes down to one of those things of priorities, right? We have one bucket of money, contrary maybe to popular belief that we have, a bunch of buckets. We only have one. So at the end of the day, it's how are we going to prioritize that, those expenditures. But like I said, I think most importantly was that, these positions were identified as one-time positions. And now that the money is, there's extra money that's expired in 22 and 23 and 24. I believe it's the last extra money that we get for 24. And some of that money was used to hire positions. So we're going to need to start prioritizing, either absorbing the cost or reprioritizing that expenditure.
One-time funding.
Yeah, one-time funding.
And that's one of the things that we had discussed on the one-time funding, that usually the one-time funding shouldn't be used for employment purposes, but to enhance the current sightings, right? And that's kind of what we're looking to move is, when we do identify that as the funding, so that we don't have to go through certain layoffs.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Yeah, Carlos, and just on your comment, that was something that was discussed with our last previous board, was why we're doing all these hiring with that one-time funds. If we know if it comes to an end, do they know that they're going to be possible layoffs when this one-time funds are over? Little did we know is that we carried it over for an extra year. So, it's getting to that point. I know it's kind of scary where we're at and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's just looking forward for, the overall health of our budget.
And if I could add to that, board members, some of the one-time funding was required to be used to hire staff. That it was earmarked for hiring staff. And I remember one of the very, very first directives that came out from the state, and I couldn't, in all my years in education, I've never seen something like this. And it said essentially, these weren't exactly the words, but what it said was, we know these are one-time funds, and we know that staffing is ongoing, and we know once these one-time funds go away, we hope that you could figure out a way to see what you could do with the staff. Well, that puts districts in a very, very difficult predicament between, as we say, a rock and a hard place. So one of the reasons why districts had to hire staffing with one-time funds is because those were the requirements for those one-time funds. But districts in a lot of places are now, little by little, having to come to this type of a decision-making process. The other thing, too, is that we're required by California Education Code to notify folks by a certain date. And
March
once
15th.
we pass that date, which is March 15th, we passed that timeline. So classified layoffs used to require a 60-day notice. And any time throughout the school year, you could provide somebody a 60-day notice, and 60 days from there, that's all the notice they needed. Last year, in January 1 of 2022, the law changed for classified layoffs, and it went almost identical to certificated layoffs, and they put in the March 15th notice. So regardless what we might do, and sometimes this happens, what ends up happening later on, we need to pass the resolution so we could meet the timeline of the notice. Now, I would like to say that in this, I would like to say that you're looking right here at approximately 25 or 26 positions. In many of those positions, it's a vacant position. There's nobody there. Because we're preparing and say, how are we going to hire somebody in October, November, and then let them go, in 5, 6, 7 months from now. So we've been preparing accordingly. And some of these people will have right of return or bumping rights back to a previously held position. So it's a whole very extensive and complicated process that we work closely with our Personnel Commission to make sure that we're doing it right, and people by seniority and hours worked and days worked. But we are at that point where the one-time money to hire these people is going away or has already gone away.
Okay, call a question.
With the motion, Ms. Magallanes made, and I second that. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. 12, resolution regarding return to work program.
It was a resolution.
Oh, sorry about that. The previous one was a resolution.
Yeah.
Is that eight? Sierra? Yes? Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Contreras?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Moving on to 12, resolution regarding return to work program.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Magallanes, seconded by myself. It's a resolution. Saraí? Sierra?
Yeah.
I'll start to chop up your name. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Contreras?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Resolution proclaiming the Great Kindness Challenge on January 23rd through the 27th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Magallanes, seconded by Mr. Calderon. Resolution. Sierra?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Contreras?
Yes.
Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
Myself, yes. 14, resolution proclaiming National School Counseling Week on February 6th through 10th, 2023.
So moved.
Second. Sierra?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Contreras?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion passes, a resolution passes. 15, resolution proclaiming February as Black African American History Month.
So moved.
Second.
Second, motion by Mr. Calderon, seconded by Mr. Contreras. Sierra?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Contreras?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
And myself, yes. 16, resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset vehicles at M&O Department. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pacheco. Sierra?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Contreras?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Number 17, resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset ice maker at William Moreno Junior High School.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, seconded by Mr. Calderon. Sierra?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Contreras?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Resolution regarding disposition of surplus non-asset office equipment at the Food Services Department. So moved.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pacheco. Sierra?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Contreras?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Number 19, resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset technological equipment at Rockwood Elementary.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Contreras, seconded by Calderon. Sierra?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Contreras?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
And myself, yes. 20, resolution continuing Board of Trustees authority to hold virtual meetings pursuant to AB 361.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Ms. Magallanes, seconded by myself. Sierra?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Contreras?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Magallanes?
Yes.
And myself, yes. We're gonna hold, skip 21 and 22 till we come back and reconvene to early closed session.